Well, welcome, BSM family. This is Dr. Pam Perry, and I am not Brian Oles, but he is letting us talk about him today. No, we're not talking about him today. Brian is not here today, but we are revealing our August cover, and it's so exciting. One, Letitia Nicole, and it's very rare that speakers magazines have people that grace the cover several times. So in 2021, she was on the cover. She had just finished the Branding Accelerator program with me, and she came out the box blazing. Then in 2022, she was on stage at the Leadership Tour Experience, and this one I found Letitia Nicole was in 2022. Again, she was blazing here. But when I tell you on the come up, number three is a charm. She did the darn thing. So it's at Speakers Magazine. This is the August issue. So if you want to go back, they are all up there. She was in on August 2021, August 2022, August 2023. And why August? Because she has events. The whole part about Speakers Magazine is that when people are on the cover, they have events. When Brian was on the cover, he had the Global Speaker Summit. So the people on the inside were part of the summit as well. With Letitia Nicole, some of her people are inside as well. But I want to say a special shout out to someone who was on our second cover, not George Fraser. He was on our very first cover, but our second cover was Dr. Missy Johnson. Dr. Missy Johnson, happy birthday. Today is her birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to Dr. Missy. And the other thing, too, we've had a few people, not that we always have AKAs on the cover, but we had a couple of AKAs on the cover. Nicole, Letitia Nicole, Nicole Roberts Jones, she was on the cover a couple of times as well. Whenever you have an event, like Alicia, she has an event coming up. Whenever you have an event, they're on the cover. Same thing with Dr. Will. So it's not always women, right? So Dr. Will, he did like what they call a takeover issue. So the people who were part of his community were on the cover. But I would be remiss if I would not say that the person who has been on the cover many times, starting with the first one in 2018, is Dr. Stacey NC Grant. Okay, she had an event, Faithpreneur event. Then 2019, again, she had an event, Faithpreneur. She was on the cover. 2020, she was on the cover again, Faithpreneur. She's been doing Faithpreneur, which is coming up next weekend as well. 2021, 2022. Okay. So she's been in the issues all this year promoting it. If you don't know Dr. Stacey NC Grant, she just recently got an award. I think Letitia Nicole, I think it was a Lifetime Achievement Award or Icon Award, I believe, from Dr. George Fraser, who is all of our mentors. He is like the speaker, Les Brown, Willie Jolly, George Fraser, Dr. Kim, all of those type of people where he gave her an award. So she's extremely busy also because she's the national president of the Zetas, and I can't remember the rest of but she's president of that. And she has an event in New York next weekend. So she is extremely, extremely busy, but I'm grateful for her. If there is going to be an award given, she has been on the most covers. And then also Dr. Sherwood. Dr. Sherwood has been on the cover a few times. 2021, I couldn't find her oldest one. Even her twin sister, if you all don't know, she has a twin. 2022, she came out blazing, and then this one, Letitia Nicole, you were in there with me on this one as well when we were at her event, the stage domination, and she'll be on the cover again in November for her SpeakerCon. So the point of Speakers Magazine is really PR and promotion of the speaker who is not only just a great speaker, but they have events that they're inviting their community, other communities to come to as well. So Dr. Letitia Nicole will have press releases. She's got events. She's going to be a U.S. reporter. Besides doing all these other things, she is getting promotion throughout all of this as well. And so with that, I'm going to stop and just like quick gushing over Dr. Letitia Nicole. You are doing it. You are doing it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I am, you have the Speak Life, and I want to go back to the genesis of it. People were who aren't familiar with you, the genesis of where Speak Life, where that came from, Speak Life Enterprises, uh,
Mhm.
Laticia Nicole Beatty, where that started, where it originated, and tell us how that evolved into a business. And she's a serial entrepreneur, guys. So she can tell us about the other things, the Purpose Professionals, the nonprofit. And, she was in my branding accelerator. So I'm going to just say this really quick. I always tell people to niche down into one thing. You can't do that with Dr. Letitia Nicole, okay? Because she gonna pop up with some stuff. She's just that creative. She is amazing, but she's so organized that it works for her. And I wouldn't suggest it for anyone else to run the business that she has, to do the products that she has, the coaching that she has, and the prayer call that you've had for how many years?
10 years,
10 years. Okay. 3 times a week at 6 in the morning or something like that.
7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person, so I've made it a couple of times. So tell us about how Speak Life Enterprises and why you're so passionate about all the things that you're doing, and tell them about, obviously, we'll talk about the event that you're having next weekend.
Yes, yes. Thank you. For what I want to say, Dr. Pam, thank you so much, just for being who you are to me, and just allowing my platform to grow. I thank you for your coaching, and I thank you for your magazines. I thank you for your love. And so this is very dear to me because Speak Life, that began in 2021, of course, it began with me. um, Never allow your past to stop your future, because it's all a part of it, and you can use every bit of it. And those of you that know me, you know that I'm faith based, and I believe that we have the power of death and life in our tongue, and those that love us shall eat the fruit. Proverbs 11, excuse me, 18 and 21. And that is the foundation of Speak Life. And I was my first beta, right? And
Mhm.
so now, and at the time, I was running a business. I was in corporate America. I had a store at the mall called Love Shop Jewels. I had a store at one mall, a kiosk at another mall, and I was running uh, a nursing home, 90-bed nursing home with 5 department heads and more seeing it. So as she says, serial entrepreneur, yes, I do a lot
Mhm.
at once, but it's all coming together. And as I was speaking life into them, I was also speaking life into myself. And as being a leader, I'm seeing that many leaders need other people to speak life into them, because I needed that myself. So I've become that coach, I've become that mentor, I've become that expert to shape our words into our reality, to shape our affirmation, our words from our affirmation in our life, so we can have the best life, living a life of abundance. Because we're going to go through things with all of these businesses. And like I say, I have multiple businesses and I do a lot of things, but guess what? It's all for the greater good of God. And I believe that when we promote each other and help each other and lift each other, and like Dr. Pam Perry does with her magazines and everything that she does, we also edify one another. I believe that we all can live a life of abundance and be prosperous doing it.
Oh, that is so good. One of the things that I want to say, that you have different passions. So you heard that. And sometimes, people will have a passion and they think it's a passing fashion or a passing fad, right? So she had the fashion. She was doing really, really well in the malls, right? It's not easy to get into a mall, right? And she was in several, and she's buying and selling and doing the products with the fashion. She has this flair. The lashes that you notice that she has on are her own line.
Yeah.
Okay. And she also has Speak Life. Obviously, she has a lip, I think it's a lip gloss or lipstick,
Yes.
as well. So she sources these products, creates these products, all from the idea. These are the things that I like. This is what I'm used. This is what I use. And so a lot of times, even if she'll do a video with a hat on, people are like, I want to get that hat. And then she'll go and she'll actually find all of the things. And what I like is that it's every piece of her that is part of her past that she's put into play to really monetize her message, which is speaking life. She didn't say speaking life, and she says that we do believe that affirmation saved her life. Literally, she was on the verge of suicide, and speaking life. a situation happened where it didn't happen. It was God, obviously, that really just made her go to sleep. And when she woke up, it was like she was infused with the Holy Spirit to really birth all the things that she's doing right now. Because people say, "Oh my God, Letitia Nicole, she's got 100,000 people following her on social media. She's doing this, she's doing that." But it's from that whole infusion of really that God given her that the whole vision of where she should be doing with Speak Life Enterprises. And so, she's got books, she does anthologies for women. She
Mhm.
does cruises. She loves travel. Whatever she puts her hand to, God has really anointed her to do that. The other thing that she does is that she has the affirmation. So if you go to letitianicole.com, you can actually download her devotional. You can see, sometimes you want to know, like, what is the secret sauce of someone, of how they do all the things that they do and still look good, because there's some people that do a whole lot of stuff and then they look broke down and tore down. It's like, girl, please, you're doing the most. Slow down. But if you can still do it all with joy and continue to give back to the community, because that's one of the things that's always been at her heart. Coming from Detroit, didn't know her in Detroit,
Yeah.
but she had a thing where she moved to North Carolina. She got her nursing degree, she got
Mhm.
her master's degree. Now Dr. Laticia Nicole Beatty. So it's like, and married with two kids. Okay.
Yeah.
So and they're doing extremely well as well. So you can tell her fruit is doing well as well. So the thing I want to say is that when you have an idea, you need a team. You can't do it all by yourself. One of the things that I try to tell Dr. Letitia Nicole was like, okay, we need to have a team because you're doing a lot. So she has people that will help do certain things, but she's also gifted. So there's certain things, because she's an influencer on social media, she's gifted at acting and modeling, so doing the TikToks and things like that is she's hilarious. So that's just a gift of some of the things. So only she can do those things, but the other things she can have other people work on. And the whole building the team of the, what is the bed of the facility that you have now? How many beds is it? 100.
Carlisle at Carborough, it's a 120 bed facility, and I definitely have. I'm building an amazing team there, a loving team. I'm hiring more loving people that love the elderly like I do. So it's coming together quite nicely.
It's like her ministry. So Speak Life Enterprises, it's a for-profit business, but it's her ministry. And I think anyone who's a speaker, when they have something that they are really excited about, they're sharing that enthusiasm with other people through platforms, through organizations, through your social media, through books, through anthologies, through cruises.
Mhm.
There is, podcasting, shows, things like that. So tell us about the two things. One you just started, it was women in.
Entrepreneurs United.
Yes. So tell us about that, and then tell us about the event next week, and then the speakers that you're going to have next week, because I want people to connect with you, because you're the person that will put people on your platform, whether it's your podcast, I mean, whether your clubhouse,
Mhm.
whether it's at your event, on panels, whether you do your live streaming, you're doing live streaming on LinkedIn now. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can have different guests there. So I want people to connect with you, because it's not like, oh, you want to just do this because you want to be seen. It is literally, I'm telling you, I've known her for years. It is because she has this ministry in her to help and uplift others. So it's not just words. She literally is doing it. I know a whole lot of people out here who say those things, but she truly, truly means it. And when I tell you that her and her husband, her family, and her mom, they all have this heart. And I really do think that as African Americans, as part of Black Speakers Network, that's what we all should be doing. There's no room for jealousy. We're all here to lift each other up. My gift is different from her gift, but we should know how to connect one another. So I want you all to connect with Dr. Letitia Nicole. Go to speakersmagazine.com and really look at it, and then say, well, how can I connect with her? Even support what she's doing in terms of her ministry, in terms of helping feed the elderly.
Yes, and I thank you for saying that. So while you were speaking about me, I was listening to me through you, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." So listen,
DTM, doing the most.
I know Letitia Nicole doing the most beating. Okay, so And I remember hearing this, and as I was growing up, I thought it was something negative. A jack of all trade is a master of
Yes.
none, and people stopped right there. But the rest of that is, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Mm.
And so, and I said, Lord, I thank you for all the gifts, because the gift giver giveth the gifts. And I have all these gifts. And so, and I bet those of you that are listening to me that are identifying with these things that Pam is saying, it was like, I know you're like, oh my gosh, she does a lot. And you probably do too. But a jack of all trade is a master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one. Okay,
Mm.
long as they working together. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm doing. So to answer your question, first you wanted to know about I believe Speak Life and what I'm doing with the elderly and the conference. And I think those were your questions. And so I'm often reminded that Laticia Nicole Beatty LLC is the business that speaks life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Letitia Nicole speaks life. And so I help women and girls overcome their fears so they can be all that they were created to be. But I also have a love for the elderly, which it all worked together for the good, because I started out as a registered nurse. I'll go back to Detroit. Okay. I started out as a candy striper. All
Wow.
right, a
Wow.
candy striper, and then became a CNA, then an LPN, and then a registered nurse, then a nursing home administrator, then an assistant nursing home administrator, and now an owner of an assisted living.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even
Mm-hmm.
think that all those things work together, right? So now I can run a profitable company and help other people become med techs, become PCAs, CNAs. So that's my love there. But as a woman business owner, I'm also seeing as Black women how we all like to pour. Everybody pour, pour, pour. For the last 10 years, I started on a 1-800 number, then my own private number. And then Pam yanked me, jacked me up, and put me on Clubhouse.
Yes. Yes.
And now the prayer and Bible study, Speak Life Prayer and Bible Study, that started 10 years ago. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I started. Listen, I was on Google Hangout.
Oh my God. Yes, I remember
Okay.
that.
So I'm telling you, these dates are listen, it's proven. And so for 10 years, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I've been in the same place and space, no matter where I am in the country, what I was doing, I'm always praying and trying to help people. But God showed me that leaders need leaders, and mentees need mentees. It just work together. You got to have a mentor. Mentors, y'all hear me? And
Mm-hmm.
those that mentor, you have to have those people to pour back into you. And so I began to have, in 2015, I had my first conference called Speak Life, right here in Durham, North Carolina. Now, at that time, listen, I was not who I am today. I did not have a whole bunch of followers. I did not listen. I got a room, Pam, enough for 250 people at the Marriott. I had a 2-3 day conference. I mean, I did it big. Guess how many people showed up?
Uh-oh. How many?
Maybe 50. But the
Oh.
room was for 250. So okay. And I planned and I did all these big things, and people flew in. I mean, it was amazing. But it was showing me where I was going. And I got a secret. I got a secret for those that is led by God, and you're always doing something. The Lord gave me, and that's why Pam said she can't. She's like, Letitia Nicole, why didn't you tell me we're gonna have a conference? I know. So let me tell you, the Lord put it back on me because I have these cruise conferences, Our Stories, His
Mm-hmm.
Glory, which I'm preparing for now. I just brought the ladies back from what were we? Cozumel, Mexico, and now we're going to Jamaica, May 11th, 13th to the 18th of 2024. And so I'm doing all these different things, big hat brunch, and God
Mhm.
said, return back to that Speak Life conference where you're speaking
Yes.
life to the health, the wealth, the finance, the relationships, back to my first book. My first book is
Yes.
founded on all of these things that have the word of God, the scripture, the reflection, and the goals, and you can journal in this.
Yes.
He said, go back to your first love. That's how where he found me, right?
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
first book. So that conference is speaking to the leaders. It's speaking to the coaches. It's speaking
Mhm.
to those that aspire to be business owners. It's speaking to the business owners, right?
Mhm.
It's speaking to those that need, to restore, revive, and thrive.
Yes. Yes. That's it. And that pulls it all together because then you'll have vendors there. How many vendors do you have?
Oh boy. I think we have like, and it was less than 30 days. I'm gonna tell the truth, Shane the
Yes.
devil. Less than 30 days to put this whole event together.
Mhm.
And right now, I believe we have like 16, maybe 17. They just keep coming in, all
You
vendors.
got almost as many vendors as you had at your first conference.
Yes.
That's
And less than 30 days. And when I tell you that I believe it's about to be about 100 people in the room,
mhm.
less than 30 days.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when it's God, it's
It
just
just
all coming together.
it does. It does.
And because I'm like, oh, I'm just having a little something. I'm not,
Mm-mm. People are coming in from around the country. You
yeah.
got Michelle White coming in. You got Jackie coming in. Jackie
And she's
Showers coming
singing.
in. Oh,
Mich-
see, that's worth the trip right there. I love her singing. Okay, she sings. She sings. Okay, that's all I got to say. It's gonna be awesome. And the thing about it is that I met Dr. Laticia Nicole years ago. I think it was in the Raleigh Durham area at LaShonda Henry's event.
It was
And
2015.
yes, and that was 2015. And I can't tell you why it's important to show up at events, and you never know when you meet people face to face how years later you'll meet again. I mean, it's good to obviously be on social media. She's a social media influencer, but when you meet someone on social media and then they're the same as they are in person, that's a good thing. So when we met at LaShonda Henry's event, it was Sister Sense, and we were, oh my goodness, there's so many different people there. Lucinda Cross was there.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
I want to say Jay Stone was there. Uh, just different people that we see now in 2015, where they are now. Everyone is doing really good, but we can always pick up the phone and call one another and remember the times when we sat down, broke bread together. So when you come to events like Speak Life or either Faithpreneur, you make sure that you make those connections count and make them count, because God is putting those people across your path for a reason. And so it's up to you to really understand that. And then leaders need to be poured into as well. So she'll have panels that you can ask questions to the panel, to the experts,
Mhm.
legal advice, marketing, all kinds of things. So you want to make sure that you show up in the room. She mentioned the big hat brunch. Being from Detroit, obviously she's not like from the country, like where we're there wearing big hats, right? She's just trying to play it off like she was. She's from Detroit, but we wear hats in Detroit. But the big hat brunch is an event where she hosts a like a fundraising event where she does, and
Yes.
so explain to that, because you were actually um feeding the seniors out of your own pocket, and then God just kind of says, you know what, after so many years, because you were on television with that. So explain to how that all came about and why you're
Ooh.
passionate about that.
All right. So I was once one of them people that needed that bag of groceries. So my husband and I, we were separated. I was raising my two kids. I moved from where we were living, so over an hour away. And so I found myself in a place where I closed my stores, moved out my big, beautiful rented house, and I say that because now we own our house. But and I was in this apartment, and if I did the Wonder Woman, I could have slapped both of the boys. If I would have twirled around, that's how small the apartment was. And I found myself not only in a broken state, but I was broke. And literally, my 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 organization at the time, professional divas, that's what it used to be called. I went to the ladies because God gave me a vision to feed 1,000 families. So I just told you what state I was in, broke and broken, okay, and I mean just depressed, everything. And them ladies looked at me like I had 50 heads on my shoulder. And so I went to social media. To make a long story short, 2,600 families end up being fed. The mayor of New York got involved. People in Detroit got involved. Georgia got involved. A bunch of leaders got involved, and they start feeding families on the same day that I petitioned them to feed families. And we start collecting groceries and turkeys. And next thing I know, each year after year, I was have over 100 frozen turkeys in my garage. Now I done moved from this apartment. Now I'm in another a home, and it just got bigger and bigger. And as she said, we was on cable, on television, and the news, and the newspaper. And I thank God for that. But now, and I used to come out of my own pocket as well. So then when people start seeing I was doing well again, they stopped donating. Okay. Because I was doing well in social and network marketing, and the network marketing company will put out all of these checks that I was getting and bonuses, and people stopped giving. So I just started taking my bonus checks and going to Walmart, using my nonprofit and getting 300 bags of groceries. And the center that I've adopted has 300 seniors in it, that their stove is not even big enough for a turkey.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Their home, I'm telling you, the living arrangements were horrible. And so now I'm able to have these events, and I use these events as give back.
Yeah.
And so I do the Thanksgiving blessing. I feed my own, but I also still feed the 300 in the JJ Henderson, and I also feed different communities around Durham, North Carolina. And also this event here, if you want to go to, we'll put up the link for you guys, and you can also see on LaticiaNicole.com. If you would like to give for this event, you can give. You can donate on LaticiaNicole.com. It's a donate button that you can give, and we help our elderly. I can also tell you another thing, that JJ Henderson used to be the housing authority, right? Durham Housing Authority, where they're now owned by a private company that now they don't get anything. So I get people in my inbox, and they used to call me the diva, okay, back then, because it was professional divas. So they still say, call a diva, we need some rent money. Call a diva, we need a bag of groceries, you know. You know, they call me a lot, and I would either take from my own, but now I don't have to, because I have people like you that's helping me, and I'm having events where I can do fundraisers and give back.
Oh, that is good. That is good. I love that. That's the whole purpose and point of why we do what we do, to be a blessing to others. The one thing that you can take from that is that she was in a broken state, but God said for her to give. And if you're a faith-based person, that's really scriptural. You give and it should be given back to you, pressed down, shaken, together, rolling over. So giving is a part of prosperity. That's again part of her ministry, is to really teach that. Some people may call it all kind of other things or whatever, but she's real solid in terms of like how God speaks to her through dreams, through visions, putting the right people in her path. When her plate is full, God will just give her something else, right? Like, okay, we're going to do a children's book. We're going to do,
Why you have COVID? Yeah.
it's like I've got, but the things work. They really work. And I want to say, and we can actually start going through the issue now, but these pictures are fire. We can only put a few of them in there, but they are fire. I'm like, OMG, right? It's like this is it. And so the timing is everything, but when God is on your side and you are really flowing in the right place, God will pull it all together. The right photographers, the right outfits, the right hair, even. Okay.
Yes.
That's one of the things. So this one is the Speak Life 2023 Transformative Event of the Year. Entrepreneur, author, motivational speaker. Her books are on Amazon. You can go there and actually see a lot of it. But she's the driving force behind Speak Life Enterprises. The story kind of talks a little bit about why that is Speak Life, and then you'll see the story coming out this week. But really, the whole point of the conference is to break through barriers that have been holding you back. Okay. If you kind of scroll a little bit, I think you can kind of see that there's a video embedded in there. Kind of scroll over that, Monet. Yeah. So each one of those things, when we do our magazine, you can not only read it, but you can watch it. So we'll go to the next page. The next page, you'll basically you'll see all the people here. You'll see videos as well. You scroll over that and you watch the videos. But one of the things to get out there, get known podcasts. I've been doing that. I think we're at episode 120 about right
Woo!
now. Yeah, so it's been up there for a minute. And basically, all it is really showing people and telling people how to get out there, get known. I interview experts. Sometimes I go on solo, but really about PR, marketing, and branding. That the this one right here, we can kind of go on, Monet. This issue on the publisher's page. This is a picture from last month's issue. You should see Cheryl Wood there. She was a cover of the July issue. We and Laticia Nicole, we supported her at her event, which was fabulous. I mean, she's been doing this for 13 years full time, just like plugging it away as a speaker, and she had about 500 people there.
Yeah.
And that issue, you can go back and read it, but we were there supporting her and meeting people and that we see online. It was just really, really love it. But it was so invigorating. It was a really a memorable event. It's always a big risk when you're doing something new. She had never done anything like that. She brought together Lisa Nichols, Trent Shelton, Gloria Mayfield Banks, and herself in a big auditorium. And she'd never done that before. Again, it was one of those things like she's really, really busy and we kind of made it work, even though it was quote unquote like in a short amount of time, she did that, right? And it's
Yeah.
when it's God, you still have the palpitations in your heart, like, whew, but it does come together. So that's one of the main things. So that's on that page there, and you can see the speakers there. There was Willie Jolly there in that one picture, that second picture under me and Dr. Letitia Cole and Dr. Cheryl. You see Willie Jolly was there because he's a mentor to us, all of us as well. And then you see Letitia Nicole in the middle of Gloria Mayfield Banks, Lisa Nichols, Trent, and Dr. Cheryl as well. So it's full circle moment for a lot of these things. Another person here on this one is Christy Taylor. Again, another person who's faith based. She went to ORU or Roberts University, majored in radio and broadcasting. She's a Detroit girl as well, but spent 20 plus years in the gospel radio community. She was in the Tennessee area, Memphis area. So Christy Taylor really talks about her transformation, and she's in here because her again, taking all of her experiences and things like that. But
Mhm.
her main thing is living life in full expression. And life is an acronym for LIFE, and she can kind of talk about that another time. But that's one of the things. Go to Christy Taylor Consulting. You can see that she again is speaking life in terms of being a motivational speaker, inspiring speaker, great content on social media and her videos and things like that. She has a TV show. I
Mhm.
really, really adore Christy Taylor. So she would actually going to be doing more things in 2020, later 2023 with this as well. The next page, we look at we've got Danielle Brazant. Now she has this issue was very interesting from the standpoint that there were a couple of people that have come over some really, really traumatic things. She was in a car accident. She had brain damage. She couldn't even speak. Okay.
Wow.
Couldn't even much chew food. But she wrote a book. She's speaking everywhere and she's doing the thing. And so if you kind of go over that video, if you scroll over a little bit, you can see that right there where you see her video where she is overcome. Okay, so it's this issue is so inspiring. It is so inspiring, and part of it is from the words of our mouth, speaking life. So Danielle, she's resilient. This is more information. You can scan that code. You can go to the website. Also, too, at the bottom of that, you can see that you can also go to get your free gift, the 15-day mini devotional at LetitiaNicole.com as well. So you can see that as well. But those are some of the speakers. You want to speak to any of the speakers of why you picked them or what they're going to be talking about?
Yes, yes, yes. So Dr. Selena Richard, she's the
Mhm.
co-founder of SAFE, a provider of spiritual ministries and leadership seminars. So Dr. Selena, it's a story behind that. I met her husband about 10 years ago at a hot dog stand. Okay. And and he said to me, he was listening to me speak, and he said, "Woman of God," he'd been saying that since I'm "Woman of God, you have some stories in you that you haven't told nobody yet." And here we go, 8 books later, but woman of
Mhm.
God. And he said, "What is your name?" I said, "My name is Laticia." He said, "Laticia, leader always teaching individual Christ issue and answers. That's who you are,
Mm.
woman of God. That's who you are."
Wow.
He went on. And so I was so hungry and thirsty for the word. I they would have Bible study at their home. And so she would come home and this girl would be on their couch and she like, Hoppo, who this woman? And so right. And I'm just sitting there like, right. And so she poured into me
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
well. That, like I said, back then I was separated, and now me and my husband back together. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
20 something years, 20,
yes,
yeah,
24 years this year.
24.
Um, and so that's Dr. Selena. She is who she is. She's a spiritual minister, and also she's a wealth builder. When I say they own land on top of land, everything paid for, they are business owners. They travel. Look, they travel everywhere through the surge, but they travel
Mhm.
everywhere. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
also Dr. Shamika Williams, she's the
Yes.
CEO and founder of Next Level Coaching and Consulting LLC. And that next level consulting is just who she is.
Mhm.
God is like showing, like I pick people that they don't just say it, they live it.
Yeah.
You can't, James 11 and 1 and 22 says you can't be a hearer of the word, but a doer of the word, but or else you deceive yourself. These people are doers, right? And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
level by level, her children level by level, and she's going to be speaking life into the levels in you. Kimberly Hines Winborn. She's the owner of Kimberly Hines Winborn LLC, business communication and finance consulting company focusing on the family legacy. My
Oh, come on now.
God, that period.
Mhm.
That's all I gotta
Mhm.
say. Period.
That is something that is so, so needed. That is really it. I mean, it's one thing to have wealth in your generation, but in the family legacy is really the whole point of where we want to be, especially as Black people.
Yes. You
Um,
don't want to be
you
the only millionaire. You
know,
want
yeah.
to make millionaires. You don't want to be the only one that they come into and say, can you pay me? Can I hold something? Can I? You would love to have everybody in the family so that knowledge and that power and that wisdom can go forth. So
Mhm.
I look forward to hearing her as well. And Pastor Jocelyn Hood McInderry, she's a registered nurse,
Oh,
author, motivational speaker. She's a servant of the community and kingdom benefactor. Well, this woman of God, of course, you can hear she's going to be speaking life into your health.
okay.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
I'm a registered nurse, but I can't do it all. Right. So she's going to be speaking life into your health. So you're going to have speaking life into your health, your wealth, your finance, your relationship, everything in one. And then we have Katrina Monique, which
Yes.
is the executive. Well, you remember she was actually there with us in 2015 in the room.
Katrina Katrina Harrell. I remember her. Yes. Yes.
Yes, and she's an executive wellness coach, author, and CEO.
Mhm.
And she'll actually be the first speaker, y'all. So I'm looking
Oh
forward to
my
everything.
God.
And then we
Yes.
have the two lawyers with our lawyer panel. So y'all come on, it's gonna be amazing.
That is gonna be good. That is Saturday, August 19th in Durham Chapel Hill. All the information is in speakermagazine.com. So make sure we're going through it issue by issue, but you can have all these things, download it, share it, all the things. Okay. So we could go to the next page and then we go to the center spread. And this is where you're going to read her story. Read a story about the Speak Life. Again, if you hover over that, you'll see videos. You kind of see, yep, there they are. There they are. You don't know what they are. You got to go to the magazine in order to see it. But I really, really love this. And I want to give a shout out to your amazing photographer.
Kim Amazing in
Yes.
Atlanta, Georgia. She has been my photographer since my actually since 2012, 2013, around that time.
Mhm.
And I thank God for her because her photos are timeless. I
Yeah.
can actually use a photo, which I refuse. I can use from the first time. I mean, literally, they're so beautiful. They're so business branding.
Mhm.
And they're timeless. And
Mhm.
so she captures the essence. Yes, and that was a shoot that she came down to North Carolina and did in my home.
Yes, I love these. Oh my god, they are really good, and it was with your products. You had
Yes,
all the products, including the tea. I forgot to mention the tea. She has her own brand of tea as well, detox tea. There you go, Speak Life Tea. It's all on the website, but you'll really find out a little bit more about the event and then about Dr. Letitia Nicole as well. So that is one of the things. Just really, really um, when I say that she pulls together a lot of the people. Kim Mazing is really, really good. She has been a person there has been for her, and Letitia Nicole refers her to business, and that's what we should always do for one another as well. Those pictures are gorgeous, gorgeous. Next page, we've got some other people that are in here, and I think you may have met Latria at Sean Fair's event. I don't know if you. I think you all were there
I
the same.
remember her.
Yes, yes. She again another person who is born with a type of a disease, I guess you would say, but she's overcome it, and now she's speaking, and she empowers people who have disabilities. And just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline and not enjoy life. And she is one of the people that is speaking life to people despite her disability, and she's a disability advocate. The disease, and you may know it, I can't pronounce it, is Pfeiffer syndrome, Pfeiffer syndrome. But it really is it's affects her hearing and her vision. And basically over the course of her life, she's had about 30 to 45 operations to
Wow.
conquer these challenges. So a typical person will say 2 or 3 operations, 4 or 5 operations, 10 to 15. We're talking 30 to 45 operations. And she is being able, like I said, this issue is really inspired. She's a disability insider. Her book is called Intimate Conversations with God. Because she's been having conversations with God about God, why?
Mhm.
And so one of the things that the book was an acclaim at the NAAC convention, and really one of the things that she's has a show called Uniquely Designed. Yeah, she has a show called Uniquely Designed. So read about Latria Ross. She all her information is there. And then Raven. Raven has a passion of writing and really working with children. It's a children's book company promoting really revolutionary love. Again, one of the things that she's I think she's also one of your sorors as well. I want to say that. Yes, she is. She happens to be yes, she says Raven is a member of the first African American sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And she talks about she's serving with the Pearls of Promise Foundation. So a lot of the Divine Nine are always in the magazine. We've had Dr. Vashti McKenzie on the cover. But the thing about when people are part of these fraternities and sororities, they have a chip to help. They are helping the community. It's not just about we're going to get together and just to have tea. They're getting together and they're doing the work. And so Raven's work is really working with youth and inspiring youth. And helping them produce books. She also spent time as a Peace Corps volunteer as well. So you read about her in there. She has a very interesting background, and you can actually consult with her if you want to produce a children's book. The next page on page 12 is Sylvia O'Connor. Sylvia is a person that left the healthcare industry. A journey of courage, and but her book is talking about the abundant life. Again, life is in a couple of these things, right? Where people are talking about how she basically 9 principles to move you from poverty to prosperity. Her particular thing, when you read her book or read her story, is that there was a situation that happened where she stood up for something justice wise when she saw wrong in the healthcare system, and she actually got a large lawsuit that really allowed her to go and do her purpose. which is speaking and motivating people. So I'll leave that for the book, but the story itself. But it's really really good. It's almost like you're reading a issue of Suits or something. I don't know, but it's really it's really really good in terms of really just instilling people in the belief that they can overcome, and that's again that's some of the things. Tanya White, she's on page 13. Really is a trailblazer in terms of really talking about. The potential and the power of your words. And professionally lynched, she again, another Black woman, moved up in the field, PhD, um, I'm sorry, master's degree, 2 master's degrees, a lot of education, but at work because of racism, they were trying to kick her around, trying to kick her, trying to quote unquote lynch her, professionally lynch her. So she talks about this in the book. Took courage to do that. She has her own talk show now. She's got different books. She's the month of June is when the book actually launched on Juneteenth, and really the whole thing it just talks about some of the topics. She talks about wounded while working. The barriers Black women face after getting a seat at the table, the delusion of diversity. She talks about that, how there's nothing affirmative about today's workplace, and then also to allowing America to lynch us again, how the workplace injustices are killing amazing employees and organizations. So she has a publishing company. She's published probably about 7 or 8 books as well, but this is really a true teller book, a true teller book. It's really really a book. She's out of Louisville, Kentucky. So you really, this is her 10th book. Yeah, this is her 10th book. So she really is a trailblazer in this whole space, talking about workplace racism and what people can do about it. Not just talking about it, but what they can do about it. So she lays out some steps in her workshops and things like that. And then the last page is one of my favorite storytellers, is media personality Sonia Aileen. Sonia Aileen, she knows that I just love her. I've known her probably maybe 10, 15 years, but she has a brand new book that just came out, and her book is called Storytelling Magic: The Storytelling Business Journal. And she also has a podcast called Business First with Sonia Aileen. And she also wrote another book called I Kick Ass at Work, the Strategy Journal for Career Professionals, which is good for anyone who is a young career professional. And you know how sometimes you have those reviews at work, and they also ask you like, well, why do you deserve a promotion, or why do you why do you need a raise? Well, this is like a journal that allows you to just really document those things in a journal. So when you go to your review, you have it all down. It's like, this is why I kick ass at work. Okay. And this is why I need the money. So yeah, so it's a really, really good thing. She used to be with Black Enterprise. So one of the main things that you'll know that was what she kind of realized was like what people are missing in terms of really documenting their success at work. And so she did that. So the last page is stepping into the spotlight, not the last page, but stepping into the spotlight. If you want to be involved on our Amazon Live or on our podcast, all the things, you could do that. And then the very last page is always like a preview for what's coming up in September, and that is the women elevating women. Again, this whole issue is about elevating women, promoting each other, supporting each other, speaking life. And this their 5-year anniversary, they're coming up, and it's in Minneapolis, and I'll be on the road to that one, as well as Laticia Nicole's next week as well. But this event is coming up, and so you got to save the date here. You can go to wewcrew.com, WEW crew.com, and find out more about that. And roughly it's probably about 200 women will be there as well. So the conferences are there. They're very targeted. Like Laticia Nicole have about 100 people there, but they're very powerful. And I'll be traveling and doing social media on the way to Speak Life conference as well. So that is coming up in next weekend as well. So just want to make sure that everybody had a opportunity to learn about the whole issue, but they can go and download it and take a look
And
at
Dr.
it.
Pam,
Yes,
and this beautiful, amazing magazine will be in every grab bag
there you go.
for the conference. And
Yes,
I'm
that's
excited. That's
it.
what I've been telling everybody about, and they are ready for it.
I love that. I love that. And it's really you were in this issue as well. We were there. We traveled to Tam's event as well. But it's one of those things where it just kind of gives a little bit of extra push. You know what I'm saying? It gives it an extra push about your conference. other people that maybe they don't come to it this year, but they'll know about it next year, right? It's like,
Mhm.
man, I wish I would have known. It's like now you know. They have a copy of it. They can know about the other speakers. Again, it's about always sharing, networking, and connecting. I'm
Well,
really
I better
about
get a
connecting.
better, bigger venue next year. Cause guess what? If 100 people in less than 30 days, if I actually plan something,
Thank you. Thank you. Is your signature event a Speak Life? Like really? That's it. And the other person too, Dr. Stacia, she was a cover of May as well. So a
mm,
lot of the women, and I love Dr. Stacia. She's like the person like your person that poured into you. She's a businesswoman, ministry woman as well. So, go back through Speakers Magazine and see all the different covers and learn about the different other speakers. It's part of your industry as Black Speakers Network. Again, George Fraser was our very first cover, Dr. George. Uh, and from that time, it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years. So we've changed the format a little bit. You start where you start, but
mhm,
you wanna grow. Les was on the cover as well. Support us in 2018, but we got to make sure that we go back and we read the your industry. We're your
mhm.
industry publication. We're the official magazine for Black Speakers Network. So you want to know about the other speakers, we have them in the issues. And if nothing else, you can look at the different bios of different people, look how far they've come, those kind of things. You want to make sure that you're doing that. um, you know, like wow, it's like look at besides the hair, but just look in terms of their stories and things like that.
Besides the hair.
Yeah, besides the hair, look at their stories. You got the different hairstyles and that kind of thing. But it really is the reason why Speakers Magazine exists is because it wants to put a spotlight on those African American speakers that are really
Yeah,
doing well, that are doing good. And
we thank you for that.
yeah, I mean, look at that. I just love look at that. That was actually at Sean's event, Sean Fair's event. So we took this picture there as well, which you were there at the point too. But it's one of those things where working with Sean, working with you, working with Lashonda, uh, Alicia Houston, because I think she was in your branding accelerator, or was she the one
Yes,
before you?
she started with us.
Yes, she was with you, and then Rodney Seaburris. Rodney's doing
Yes,
extremely well.
I
I
see.
like he's doing the thing. And I think Carmen as well. I think she spoke to your class, but people who stick together as part of your community, you can help each other, you can always call on them, you can learn from them, you can glean from them. We are pretty much, there for each other. That's what we should be. We're there for each other. And so I just want to say thank you for you being obedient to your books, to your tea, to the lashes, to the travel. Um, what's next for you?
So I'm speaking a whole lot more. Even when I'm leaving you right now, I'm heading to Raleigh, North Carolina for it's called Didi by Danny Business Summit, and it started yesterday. And
Okay.
so I'm the keynote, and I speak on tomorrow. And so yeah, I'm speaking life into the business owners.
Oh my God, that is
And it's
good.
been sold out for about 2 months,
Oh my
even before she put out who was speaking. Right?
wow.
And so, I'm about to go speak into a auditorium of business owners, and that's actually was one of my first talks was speaking life into the entrepreneur. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I'm excited about that. So what's next for me? I'm not going to stop having my conferences and my big hat brunch and my cruise conference, but I do see now my business in speaking is taking off. So Dr. Laticia Nicole Beatty is open for 2024.
There you go. I love it. That is it. And that should be the goal for all of us to really speak more, to share your message, to provide a platform from others as well. Because when she has her own events, she can bring other speakers along, mentor them as well, give them opportunity to shine as well. And then she herself is going forward and speaking on other platforms and things like that. So it is really the goal. Black Speakers Network continues to do professional development, making sure that you're a part of that. And then Dr. Letitia Nicole, you can download her mini devotional because you can't really find that maybe so much in Black Speakers Network, but you do need what I call a holistic approach. So you want to know about the business side. You also want to know about the uh, spiritual side or the emotional side of your business as well, because you got to have balance. You got to have balance. So that's one of the things too, because you want to be spirit, soul, and body, have everything in alignment.
Right. You want to be in alignment with your assignment.
There you go. And if you like that, that is a t-shirt that she has as well. It is really good to wear your trademarked sayings on t-shirts. So she has that as well. I should have wore it today. I didn't even think about it. But it's a really cool t-shirt that she can have. And she has other products as well. Um, from the things that you do the most, you did a training for BSN as well. I want to say it was on product development.
Product, intro to product development.
Yeah, so if you're a member of BSN, you can find that recording in there, Intro to Product Development, in terms of how to really bring a market from idea to, you know, to sales, you know.
Mhm.
So those are the things that she does as well. She's been on different podcasts. She's open to even being on your podcast show. If you want to go on her clubhouse, you can do that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Absolutely. And they can also be interviewed for the WEU, Women's Entrepreneurs United, every Monday at 8 p.m. And so you also get to speak at engagement board for churches as well. I am a minister, I'm an evangelist. I love the Lord. So that is increasing. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to go to and be if Women Entrepreneurs United, uh, is there, you can still go to LetitiaNicole.com, but everything's all in the magazine. I'm telling you, we try to put everything in there. Uh, but make sure that one of the things that if you feel that I'm not as far along as you feel like you should be, one of the things I would advise is that you give more, meaning, like, even if it's something as simple as sharing the magazine or championing or cheering on other people, or you are, putting other people on your podcast. But whatever it is, I always say what you make happen for others happens for you. And so for a long time, Dr. Letitia Nicole was always helping other people. And now it's her season for things that are happening for her, but she's still continuing to do things for other people as well. So I just put that piece of advice: what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. So continue to share, like, promote, say good things. That's really the whole point of it. So thank you so much, Brian Oles, for allowing us, Black Speakers Network, to be the official magazine for BSN. He's not here, but he's here in spirit because we got his magazine here. But want to make sure that you all pick up all the magazines and things like that, and support each other. So, yep, there we go. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. God bless you, Dr. Letitia Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.